All right, another day in the bag, Thursday. And wow, what a productive first half of the day. Second half of the day was less than average productivity, but first half of the day that was 2 or 3 days worth of average productivity in half a day. When I first came back to America to get into the IT field, I didn't really know what I was getting into in that capacity. I had a background as a training course developer, and so I was pretty and instructor. I would pretty good at developing classes for training, for IT training, and I was very good instructor. I think that was good preparation for becoming a vlogger in Japan. What I wasn't was an analyst, and what I certainly wasn't was a project manager. So when I got hired as a business systems analyst, there were 3 levels. They really don't hire ones; they just hire 2s and 3s. 2s get promoted to 3s, journeyman, and then 3 is at the top of your game, and then you get to be a supervisor after that, and then you enter management after that. And when I got hired, I really wasn't qualified, and I really didn't know what the hell I was doing. I've told this story before. I won't go on and on. Let me just suffice it to say that this current project I'm on, which is ostensibly my last project, is demanding of me to do both of those things that I didn't know how to do. It requires me to be a project manager and to be an analyst. And it's taken me 10 years to get there, but I can do both things competently well. I mean, I think I can do it very well now. It's almost like a shame to bring the career to an end, because I finally reached the point that I could do those things. The things that I couldn't do when I first came. And if I had had any idea what was really expected of me, of what I was really signing up for when I came to America and got that job, would I have done it? Man, would I have done it especially if I had considered the risks? It's a blessing that I didn't know. Because boy, it sure has paid off doing it. Doing it, taking the risk and making it happen was worthwhile. For sure. Put my family and I in a better position than ever. But it was a snake eyes. Roll of the dice. If there ever was one. So, today really knocked it out of the park. And I feel but I've had a good productive day. So, time for a swim. Yumiko's still at it. And, can I lock it? Hold on. Yumiko's still going at it. She'll go out. She'll be working until 6. I start work real early at 6:30. There we go. That's the sound of a Learjet. Being so close to John Wayne International Airport and the Long Beach Airport, and not far from Los Angeles International Airport, we get a lot of airplane traffic going overhead. Let's take a look at the Halloween stuff. Gonna miss seeing that. Oh, look at that. That's cool. It's one of those hydrofoil boards. Oh, that's sneezy. So as a result of having a rock and roll day, really good day, I feel great. my well-being is so intimately tied to my job performance. I wouldn't say my job, my performance. I mean, I could be a dishwasher and feel terrific about myself if I had a really good day of washing dishes. If it was a lackluster day of basically feeling like it all comes down to, does my employer get good value out of me? I'm an employee type. I'm not the kind of person that can really have my own business. I've tried that several times and always fail. So I am a worker bee. Do I deliver good value to my employer? And if I do, I feel great. Now, I knew that today had this potential. And when I woke up this morning, I had a solid block of 4 hours of meetings. Beginning, so let's see, was it 4 hours? 7:30 to about 12:30, 8:30, 9:30, 10:30, 11:30, 12:30, that's 5 hours. But I had about 2 half-hour blocks of time off between. But I wound up, the meetings went long, and I used that up. But the thing was, in half those meetings, it wasn't my meeting, but I had to pay close attention and be a part of it because I'm climbing a learning curve. But for the parts that were mine, I really, really extracted out what I wanted. I got the scope definitions that I wanted. And that was the mystery to me when I first got started at this, and people would tell me, you're a business systems analyst. That means you have to talk to the customer, understand and define the business need, list out the requirements, both functional requirements and technical requirements and operational requirements, identify risks, come up with plans of response to various risks, identify assumptions. Put that all together into a package that lays out a project business case, project options, pros, cons, and weighted recommendation. And then take whatever the decision maker makes as a decision and formulate that into a project plan and a schedule. And then take off the analyst hat, put on the project management hat, and execute that thing that you create. And that's what I do for another about 13 months. Can you believe it? It's down to 13. Now, I could stay longer. I mean, it's not like I have to leave on December 16th, 2024. That's the day I keep telling everybody I'm leaving. I could stay longer. I don't want to. I don't want to sacrifice a single month of my life to this stuff anymore. I want to be free. But Emily and Yumiko will go, and that's been on my mind too. They're going to leave. What's most important is my last day of my lease. My lease expires on June 30th, 2024. So I need to find a place to stay after that, whether it's living in my car or Airbnbs or extending my lease to month, whatever the case may be. Found a really nice guest house today in, where was that? Can't remember the name of the community. It's a noteworthy name. It's a name that just screams of Los Angeles. Up in the mountains. 4 acres. It's a guest house on a larger property. Nice place. And it had a really nice big workspace. And good with the dogs. And it was only $1,800 a month for 30 days on Airbnb. So all things included. That seemed like a good deal. Came this close to signing it up. This close. Okay, here we go. Time for my swim. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Boink, doink. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Hump. Do-do. Hey! So here comes the lifeguard. So I was out after my body surf. I came back and I found some plastic on the washing up on the thing, and I picked it up, and it was like a giant mat of like 3M foam. And I picked it up, and it like let loose with all of its foamy badness, and I ended up like with goo all over me. And I had to take a nice long kind of a bath in the water there to wash it off. Nasty! Nasty stuff. Which way? That way? That way's nicer. Joy to the world, all the boys and girls. Joy to the fish in the deep blue sea. Boswell was delighted with the initial success of the second edition, but as sales slowed, his spirits drooped. The second edition was selling as well as could be expected, he informed Malone in August. The sale of my book was going on as might be expected, he noted 5 months later, when 700 sets had gone. 2 weeks afterwards, he called at Dilly's and found that the sale of My Life of Johnson had stagnated for some time, which discouraged me. Eventually, 1,200 sets were sold. From the first and second editions combined, Boswell earned about £22,500. In the October issue of the Gentleman's Magazine, Anna Seward, commenting on Boswell's corrections and additions, criticized his change of heart on the Sprig of Myrtle verses. She now conceded that Johnson might have given these to Hector, but insisted that he had written them first for Lucy Porter. Miss Seward explained away Johnson's statement to the contrary as a small untruth. Boswell rose to the occasion in the next issue. The idea that Johnson might have written such tender verses for the daughter of the woman he was later to marry made an awkward tale, he felt. In any case, Boswell had received a letter from Hector confirming that he had requested the verses from Johnson. Conjecture must at once yield where a fact appears, and that we have from Mr. Hector. He was indignant at Miss Seward's suggestion that Johnson might have been untruthful in this or in any other matter. Dr. Johnson's strict, nice, and scrupulous regard to truth was one of the most remarkable circumstances in his career. He pointed out that many of the anecdotes Miss Seward had sent him in 1785 had proved to be unreliable. For example, the story that at the age of 3, Johnson had written an epitaph on a duck that he had accidentally trodden on and killed, a story which Johnson himself had denied. As my book was to be a real history and not a novel, it was necessary to suppress all erroneous particulars, however entertaining. The controversy continued in subsequent issues of the Gentleman's Magazine until February, when the editor decided to call a halt to further discussion. Boswell was the clear winner. Miss Seward's arguments were shown to have been founded on her prejudice against Johnson. A few weeks before the second edition of his Life of Johnson was published, Boswell had been mugged, really. Returning home one June night, he was attacked at Titchfield Street, knocked down, robbed, and left lying stunned, until, with the help of a passing gentleman who hailed the watchman and the patrol, he was led home. He was found to have a cut on the back of his head and contusions on both arms. He was confined to bed with a fever for several days. Fever? Really? And he had still not fully recovered 8 weeks later. Boswell confided to Temple that he had been drunk when the incident took place. This, however, shall be a crisis in my life. I trust I shall henceforth be a sober, regular man. Boswell was gloomy that summer. Many of his friends were away from town. Malone, for example, who had gone to Stratford to pursue his Shakespearean researches. Boswell frequently sallied out, roaming the more fashionable thoroughfares of London in the hope of running into someone who would invite him to dinner. On one such occasion, he was hailed by Lord Inchiquin, Mary Palmer's husband, and invited back to dine. When the Inchiquins went out to the theater afterwards, Boswell found himself alone on the street at 7 o'clock in the evening, warmed by the wine, but without anybody on whom he could call. He stole home and crept into bed. 2 days later, he called on Malone, who had just returned from Stratford and was busy arranging old papers which he had found there. I envied him the eagerness with which he examined them. Now that he no longer... That is a good feeling, when you've got something to examine and check out. Now that he no longer had a book to write, Boswell felt redundant. He was, in truth, a disappointed man. His fame as the great biographer contrasted painfully with his insignificance in the world of affairs. Interesting. Again and again he reviewed his life, wondering where he had gone wrong. Comparing notes with Temple. How has Dundas overtopped us all? Temple asked plaintively. As a young man, Boswell had set out the achievements for which he hoped to be remembered by his grandchildren. He improved and beautified his paternal estate of Auschwitz, made a distinguished figure in Parliament, had the honor to command a regiment of foot guards, and was one of the brightest wits in the court of George III. Now, 30 years later, it seemed unlikely that any of these hopes would be realized. But how strange that he would think that when his fame and his memory will live on, ostensibly forever, given that he was the great biographer. Later, in September, Temple arrived in London, where he had come in the hope of influencing Dundas, now Home Secretary as well as Treasurer of the Navy, to make his midshipman son a lieutenant. The sight of Temple soothed Boswell's weary soul. Temple saw how unhappy he was. Together, they reviewed all Boswell's obsessions, his disappointment at not having achieved any high office, his failure to apply himself seriously to English law, his reluctance to return to the country, the possibility of marrying an agreeable woman of fortune. The old dreams were fading, the years were rolling on, and age was approaching. Yet, friendship remained. It was a valuable consolation to me to find that my old friend and I were as much attached to one another as ever, and that whenever I was alone with him in free conversation, I experienced a calm relief from my vexing thoughts. Temple observed that Boswell was finding it difficult to manage his 2 elder daughters, Euphemia and Veronica, now 19 and 20, and lacking the steady control of their mother. They did much as they pleased. Removed from their home in Scotland, they had not enough polish for London society. Even Nancy Temple, a country parson's daughter, found them vulgar and uncouth. Nor was Boswell the sort of parent who could introduce them into the right circles. They had learned to despise Ayrshire society without becoming equipped for London. Wow! Neither respectable nor fashionable, they were vulnerable. What an interesting dilemma. They were vulnerable. Provincial girls marooned in the capital, they found themselves mixing with the most raffish company. Fiddlers and singers and emigres, for example. Temple remarked that they did not treat their father with the respect due to a parent. He spoke to them on Boswell's behalf, and an agreement was reached that they should go out no more than 3 days each week and never on a Sunday. Like Boswell, Temple was now a widower. His wife had died in March, leaving him at first disconsolate, though during their lifetime he had complained continually about her peevishness and sexual unresponsiveness. To help manage his children, he had employed a housekeeper, a 28-year-old dressmaker called Sucky Frode, and in no time at all had become infatuated with her. After years of reading about Boswell's adventures, Temple was now involved in a drama of his own. A couple of weeks after Temple had returned to Cornwall, Boswell received terrible news. Andrew Erskine was dead. As young men of genius and breeding, Erskine and Boswell had swaggered around London and Edinburgh together. They had published a book of facetious letters between them, the first publication that Boswell had acknowledged as his own. A poet with a minor talent, though considerably greater than Boswell's, that says a lot. Erskine had been an army officer, a glamorous profession to which Boswell himself had once aspired, in peacetime only. Like Boswell, Erskine was melodramatic. He also, like Boswell, he occasionally suffered from a fevered imagination. The two of them had sometimes been so nervous as to resort to sharing a bed for mutual comfort. What? They had lost touch when Boswell began to spend more and more time in London, while Erskine remained in Scotland. But recently they had re-established contact. Erskine wrote to Boswell, complimenting him on his Life of Johnson. "I am fond of your style. It is not like the solemn march of your friend, but the careless and easy walk of a gentleman." And in his reply, Boswell had offered to send Erskine a set of the octavo edition when it was printed. It is not certain whether he ever did. Now Erskine had killed himself, filling his pockets with stones and walking into the sea near Ley after a bad loss at whist. What the hell is whist? Wow. The shock was so great that Boswell could not bear to write Erskine's name in his journal, leaving a blank in its place. That's heavy. A month later, following a quiet Sunday when he dined alone at home, Boswell was disturbed by a strange dream. A statue stepping down from its pedestal. And there's an asterisk here. Mozart's Don Giovanni had first performed in 1787, 6 years earlier. There's no evidence that Boswell ever saw the opera in which a statue of a dead father comes to life. Boswell was now drinking very heavily. One day he was so ill after applying the bottle freely the night before that he stayed in bed until 3:30 in the afternoon. Often he would importune his host to open another bottle. His despondence on drink was becoming embarrassingly obvious. He was getting fat. Several unsightly lumps appeared on his forehead. Painter Joseph Farrington, who had not seen him for nearly a year before they ran into each other in early October, noted in his diary that Boswell was much altered for the worse in his appearance. His drunkenness led him into scrapes after one convivial dinner. His drunkenness led him into scrapes. After one convivial dinner, he slipped while running in the street and hurt his left elbow. At home, he found he had misplaced 50 pounds in banknotes. Still intoxicated, he returned in a hackney coach to the tavern where he had dined and made a search there in vain. Vexed and confused, he tottered home and went to bed, only to find the notes in his cabinet the next morning. Even now, he was still occasionally attending the sessions at Westminster Hall. donning the black barrister's dress, though his practice had completely ceased. In January 1794, he attended the Chelmsford session without attracting a single fee. He felt worthless and unwanted. My constant cause of repining is having indulged hopes of attaining both to consequence and wealth, he confessed after a dinner with Malone. And finding no prospect of attaining my ambitious objects, I tried to soothe myself with consideration of my fame as a writer. Temple recognized what was wrong with his friend. Your drinking is owing to want of employment in pursuit of the native activity of your mind. Yes, I agree. He advised Boswell to begin a new book, perhaps based on his travels during his grand tour, an idea Boswell had floated after the Life of Johnson was published. But it was too late. He was no longer capable of the necessarily sustained effort. Suddenly, an opportunity presented itself to him. The Corsicans had fallen out with the French and appealed to the British for help. Somebody was needed to be British representative there. Surely there was nobody better qualified than himself. Boswell decided on one last throw. He wrote to Dundas offering his services. Dundas wrote back declining them. Snubbed, Boswell spent the spring of 1794 rampaging around town, drinking, dining, card-playing, and whoring. He longed for some useful activity, but nobody wanted him. There was always the estate, of course, where an increasing number of matters seemed to require his presence that summer. Thwarted of any employment in London, he could do his duty in Scotland. Yes, he could. Perhaps he might save money by going there. He reluctantly decided that his two elder daughters should accompany him. In London, they were in danger. In Scotland, they might find more suitable society, perhaps even husbands. Really? This should be interesting. This guy's trying to head out on a kite surfer with a one of those hydrofoil boards. Let's see how he does. He's going to have to get it out. I don't know how he's going to get out there. He has to get out there to a deep enough depth. Yet he's got to manage that kite at the same time. Here's this dude. I don't know how he's going to get out to enough depth. Going for it now. Guess that's how you do it. Moving. There he goes. Ah! Oh no! Oh, his board got tossed into shore. Now what? Oh, and we got separated from his board again. Going? No, not yet. Doesn't look deep enough, does it? There he goes. He's up. Come on, that's gonna elevate. I guess he's gotta get enough speed for it to lift off. Because he should lift up, right? Whoa! Did he go down? I think he went down just in front of those waves. Oh no! Hope it doesn't take his board. There he is. Does he still have his board? Yeah, he's got the board still. Go, go, you can do it. Up, and he's up. Oh, and he's down. That must be a lot harder than it looks. Is he still with the board? Oh, is he up? Yeah, he still got the board. There he goes. Go, go! Oh! Oh, that wave's big. Oh, that's separated from his board. Oh, he's got it, I think. There, go, 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 go! Up, up. Now he's getting out past the breakers, so he should probably be able to get up out there. He's not up though, is he? He's still just being drug around. There he goes, there he goes. I think he was up for a second. There he goes. Yeah, he's up. He's moving now. Looks like he's coming back this way. He's way the hell out there though. Jeez Louise. He's coming back this way now. He's moving. bold of him to go that far out. I mean, it doesn't really showing up, but he's way out there. Did he fall down again? Yeah, he fell down again. Way the hell out there, and he fell down. That's what I mean. That's so bold. He seems vulnerable. He's back up again. There he is. He's coming fast our way now, huh? Got that way zoomed in, that's why it's so grainy. He's moving so fast, but he doesn't seem to get any closer. I know he's getting closer. Go down again. There he's up again. Body meets a body coming through their eye. Well, he just keeps going further and further. I think I better stop for now. Let's see if there's any comments. Please take glasses going in. Can you repeat going swim? Just stop. Please take glasses off. Can you quickly swim? No, the water's not cold. No, I'm not going to go back in. One swim's enough. Yeah, it's very chilly out there. And now that the sun is going down, it's getting really cold. But I think I'm gonna go home and see my wife, and then go for a dog walk, and then have dinner, and then watch a show, and then go to bed. It's been a really good day. I love it when I have a productive day at work. Damn, it feels good. As Emerson always says, just do your work. Just do your work. Take care, everybody. Have a nice day. Make it a Wabi-Sabi day. Or don't make it a Wabi-Sabi day. It's going to be a Wabi-Sabi day. That's right. Take care. Bye-bye.